Welcome to Prijepolje. Join me in this episode in exploring the town and its surroundings. We are beginning our journey from this viewpoint above the town with a beautiful view both on this side and all the way to the other. As I said, this is the viewpoint. We went down this path, and here is a road that will take us to the town. Prijepolje is a town in the far southwest of Serbia with about 11,000 people, and it was first mentioned in 1332. It was built on the site of the Mileševa Monastery's market, which was also crossed by an important trading route. In that period, Prijepolje was a very developed place, but in the 15th century it fell under Ottoman rule and its importance declined. It was finally liberated on 27 October 1912. This behind me is the local museum where you can see many different things. First of all, a room dedicated to the famous basketball player Vlado Divac. A lot of pottery, old tools and implements. A replica of a room, I'm not sure, but I think it's from the 17th century, as well as traditional costumes and many other small items from that period. Here we are crossing the bridge over the Mileševka river, which further downstream flows into the Lim river. By the way, the Lim river flows through the town, dividing it into two parts. On this side of the river there is this beautiful park. I honestly haven't seen such a beautiful park in a long time. So here are the courts, the gym, and over there is the playground, while the rest is full of benches and walking paths. The park is well designed and arranged. In the middle of the park there is also this monument dedicated to the national heroes. Along the entire length of the park runs this walkway lined with trees, while on the other side flows the Mileševka river. In town there is also this clock tower from the 18th century. In town there is also another park located at the confluence of the Mileševka and Lim rivers. This behind me is the monument dedicated to the Battle of Prijepolje. This was one of the most difficult battles of the National Liberation War, fought on December 4, 1943, between the partisans and the Nazi occupation forces. On that occasion, around 400 fighters were killed in a very small area, and roughly the same number were wounded. The partisans had a big adventure here, the Lim River, but due to carelessness and poor organization, the German soldiers managed to sneak up on them and capture the bridge, allowing them to advance further. At that point, the partisans were split into two groups. On one side of the river was a tired and surprised brigade, and on the other three now surrounded battalions. For partisans this was a big defeat, while for the Germans one of the most successful tactical operations during the war in Yugoslavia. To better understand how it happened, on the other side of the river were three surrounded battalions, and on this side was the hospital, whose remains can still be seen, and the brigade surprised by the German attack. As you already seen, the town is set in a beautiful landscape, surrounded by peaks, greenery and lovely forests. Truly, there is no better place for a town. And here we have this old bridge across the Lim river. Here I came across this very interesting inscription, or rather a quote, which says, "We are destined by fate to be the East in the West and the West in the East." We've just finished with the sweets, and if you're not following, check out the other video about the food you can try in this place. And now, right here next to this old pedestrian bridge, we are ending our story about the town and heading out to explore the surrounding area. Our next destination is about 18 kilometers away, and it's an old sacred tree. The last 17 kilometers are a constant climb, so we'll see how far we can get. We are arriving at Kamena Gora, about 15 to 16 kilometers from Prijepolje. The last 6 or 7 kilometers are all uphill. I think there should be a viewpoint somewhere around here, but the main reason why we are here is the tree that's 500 or more than 500 years old. This is the old pine tree, or holy pine, at the top of Kamena Gora. It's estimated to be over 500 years old. It's about 15 meters tall with an 18 meters wide crown. There is interesting story tied to it. The people used to gather here to cut the ceremonial bread under it because there were no churches nearby, especially during Ottoman rule, and that's how it got its name. The trunk is very large. Its circumference is about 5.5 meters. And as I said, it's considered a sacred tree, and you can see that some people left money here. There is also a beautiful view stretching out in this direction. It's really beautiful. Up there are several houses, and we also passed many more on the way here. They are probably for rent or weekend cottages, so this is one of the relatively popular destinations for those who like to get away from civilization. Our next destination is the village of Jabuka and a monument to Boško Buha. Here is this building. It says Pioneer Resort Boško Buha, Jabuka. It's abandoned. But anyway, we are actually looking for monuments. There is a nice walking path around the building. The vegetation has overgrown, since there is no one to trim it. But still, it's very beautiful. I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but there is the sound of a metal can rolling in the wind. And the street is also full of trash. People have been littering so much. Now, for those who don't know, Boško Buha was a fighter in the National Liberation War, a pioneer and a bomber fighter of the 2nd Proletarska Brigade. He was born in 1926. He joined the partisans in 1941, before he had even turned 15. He showed great courage and quickly advanced, becoming the leader of a bombing unit. Even though he was still a child, his contributions were far from small. He took part in many battles, some of which were won thanks to him and the other boys of similar age. At first, the partisans tried to send them back home, to their families, because they were too young. But they soon gave up on that idea, because these young people refused to go home, and didn't want to leave their units or their new comrades. As you can already see behind me, there are many monuments here. They are all dedicated to young men and women. For example, here, Ganimeta Terbeshi, born in 1927, died in 1944. So she died very young, at only 17. So today it's unimaginable that children at 14 or 15 will do any kind of work. We mostly saw back in Sjenica that children really do take care of livestock, help out around the house and on the farms. But in larger cities, today's youth mostly sit on their phones or computers. In fact, in some ways, even by law, if you were to make them do some kind of work, someone could accuse you of exploiting them. And on the other hand, here we see that these young girls and boys back then were even defending the country. Just imagine what it was like in those days when winters were harsh, snow deep, and they marched through these hills and mountains without modern technology, clothing or shoes, armed with rifles, fighting against the Nazi occupiers. And over on the other side there are more monuments to be seen again. Down there it looks like there are some kind of climbing bars and swing for children, but it all looks completely rusty and abandoned. I don't know what used to be here, maybe some kind of a complex, a picnic area or something similar, and why it's now abandoned. The ambience is very nice. Here you can see the view on this side and a lot of trees. And here in front of me there is a church. I wanted to get a bit closer to the church and show you the view next to it. However, right there beside the church there are two big dogs sleeping, so I'd rather not go too close, because I've had some bad situations before. Maybe these ones are friendly, but we don't really need to see everything. Of all the places we've visited so far in Prijepolje, this one I liked the most. The place itself is really nice, except for all this garbage around us. There, near monuments and everywhere else. There is so much trash, you could make a business out of it, but still, it's a lovely area. From here we'll walk along this small path up this hill, because there is a monument to Boško Buha at the top. And I think it's a life size. After that we'll continue down towards the village to see what's happening there and if there's anything interesting to see. As you can see, Boško was quite small, which allowed him to very easily sneak up on enemy bunkers and throw in grenades to destroy them. He became very famous for that, and even Josip Broz Tito personally commended him. I could talk for another half hour about his battles, but if you want to know more, there is a very long article on Wikipedia. The monument itself is placed on a good spot, from which you can see the whole valley. Boško's luck didn't last long because he was unalived before turning 17. More precisely, in 1943, the truck he was in ran into a Chetnik ambush, and that's when he died. I'm not sure if this is private property since it's fenced, but there are some stone slabs here. Or maybe it happened outside this fenced area, near that small stone. I'm not sure, but it's somewhere within this little forest, between these trees. And here is the crossroad, and over there is the grove and a stone plaque. Oh yes, that's how it used to be. There were organized voluntary activities for young workers. I don't know how much you could hear, but a man just passed by and told me that there used to be organized voluntary activities and that Tito's pioneers built these hotels that were used as accommodation for them, and they would come here for vacations and holidays. But for many years now, everything has been abandoned, and as you can see, there is no one around. Everything's closed and locked, and that's it. On our way back to Prijepolje, we decided to stop by the Davidovica monastery. The monastery was built in 1281 or 1282 on the foundations of a 6th century basilica, and it was founded by the grandson of Stefan Nemanja. It was looted both in the 15th and 17th century and finally restored in 1998. The monastery itself is surrounded by hills, forest and greenery. I'm not sure which part of the monastery are original and which are later reconstructions. What I can say is that there are no frescoes inside. From the outside it looks beautiful, and right in front of the entrance there are 2 stone walls. After a very steep, narrow and winding road, we are arriving at the Sopotnica waterfalls. There is this small concrete bridge, and behind me you can see the water. And up there is the waterfall itself. There is another level above. We'll see later how to get all the way up there. There is also this meadow with these big rocks, offering a wonderful view. And there you can see a path that probably goes up in a loop. It says that the circular trail starts here and is 2 kilometers long. It's probably this one here. But we'll see. It's really beautiful. And here is another one. And look all the way up there, at the top. To my left are these stone walls. Probably the remains of an old watermill. But I don't think we have much more to climb. Here are the remains of another watermill. And in front of me the stairs continue all the way up. A bit more climbing. And it's fairly steep. Just a few more steps. Here we are. Wow. It's beautiful. We climbed all the way up from down there. And the view... A picture is worth 1,000 words. Keep in mind it's summertime now. During the rainy season, this waterfall will probably look even more impressive, because there will be more water, making it much larger. We are standing right beneath this rock. The waterfall is very close. Here's how far we climbed from that bridge. It's not for everyone, especially if you're afraid of heights or not in good physical shape. Maybe up to the lower part of the bridge, but not all the way up here. I don't know how well you can see on camera, but there is a rainbow right here at the waterfall. I came back down a bit and now I'll continue along the path in that direction. And will probably come down from the other side. Across these wooden planks. I don't think there's much more climbing left. I'm really tired. And here we are crossing another small bridge. The trail continues up there, but you can also go this way. I've had enough climbing for now, so I'll slowly follow the path back down. We have just another 15 meters to the end. You can see the place where we started. I completed the whole circle. I had sweated like I had run a marathon. But it was worth it. The most beautiful part is that first section on the other side near the bridge. Now I'll take a short rest, and I think that's quite enough for today. And where we'll go tomorrow, you'll see. This behind me is the Hisardžik mosque and above it the Hisardžik fortress. The mosque dates back to the 16th century and it houses a Quran that's over 400 years old. For a long time people thought that Quran was much younger because of the text on its first page. However, later research showed that it's indeed around 400 years old. Somewhere to the left of the mosque is also the Hermitage of Saint Sava. Now, I'm not sure if it's reachable from this side with this path because I saw a sign somewhere here. Because on the other side of the valley is the Mileševa Monastery, which we'll visit right after this location. And now there is a small change of plans. We won't go to the fortress right away. First we'll go down to Saint Sava Hermitage, since we met a local who will take us there. After that we'll go up to the fortress. Now we are passing through this brush and slowly walking along this narrow path. It's a bit hidden, but still beautiful. It's very steep, with loose stones, so it's really slippery. And there is nothing to hold on, so we'll have to move very carefully and slowly. Now it's a bit flat, but we are still following the trail, so it's fine. And just about 100 meters further, we are reaching this section where the stone path starts and will continue along it. This area is probably a monastery property, so that's why we have this stone path here, but not above. There are many stairs to go down, and a lot of leaves. I don't know how much you can see. On the left side there is a ravine, and on the right, a sheer rock face. We are still going down. Here, we have to duck a little. Oh, when I think that after this I'll have to climb all the way up to the fortress. Here we come to this little spot, where we can sit and rest a bit. But I have to move on. What now? Now we are climbing. I don't think there is much left. They say the trail is 1 kilometer long. We are arriving. Here they are. Two caves, side by side. On the right there is a small spring where the water drips from the rock, and some believe it has healing powers. I won't go into that. While on the other side, I believe is the Hermitage itself. People leave some money there, and there is an inscription. And now we are slowly going back. As you can see, it's a bit hard to climb. As you can see, there is a memorial plaque marking the spot where a young man died in 2017. I don't know if something fell from above, a rock maybe? So I really don't want to stay here longer than I need to. Now we just have to climb back up. And the man who guided us, the one with the grey shirt, he lives up there and always offers to show the way to the Hermitage if you don't find it yourself. He doesn't ask for any payment. He just says, give me whatever you want, if you want. And either way, I'll show you the way. Oh man, who's going to climb all the way back up? Now don't get me wrong, the sign here says medieval town Mileševac, so call it whatever you want, but the fortress is here. We were told that the 400 years old Quran can be seen only on Fridays, and the path to the fortress goes right next to the mosque. Let's see. We followed the narrow path for about 15 meters and now it turned into a stone path again. For now we are descending, so I'm not sure when we'll start climbing. Here is the view on this side. Down there we can see a well, houses and more houses all the way to the top. Special Nature Reserve, the Mileševka River Canyon. That's here. And now in the distance you can see the tunnel where the movie Lepa sela lepo gore was filmed. As you can see, it's completely collapsed. I don't think if it's even possible to reach it. And in the distance there is another tunnel that also looks unreachable. Now here we are missing a bit of the trail. But it's okay. On this side, you can see a huge drop, but we are continuing. From the back side, you can see the fortress up there. I've started heading back. I gave up on going any further, because the path is very narrow, the rocks are slippery, the heat intense, and there is a chance of running into a snake, so I really don't want to risk it. It's completely unsecured, it looks like very few people actually go there. The fortress was first mentioned in 1444, and it's believed to have been built in the 13th or late 13th century. Its main purpose was to protect or control the road between Sjenica and Prijepolje. Since 1465 it has been under Ottoman control all the way until the fall of the Ottoman Empire and was probably abandoned afterwards, just as is today. As you can see, the trail is in very poor condition. At the start of the trail everything's fine. There is even a stone path with stairs leading up to this point. But from here on, the second half of the path is completely unmarked and unsafe. You literally walk right along the rock face all the way up. And as far as I went, about 15 meters further, it seems that it is even worse there. So that's the main reason I'm giving up. But I believe this could be a really beautiful and interesting tourist attraction if the path were completed all the way to the top, so people could climb safely. From what I've seen online, there are just a few videos, but the view from the top is beautiful. So this is the rocky face. Here you can see how high we would climb. Actually, it's not that far. It's shorter than the path to Sava's Hermitage, so there are maybe around 600 meters to the top, but the last 200 or 300 are terrible, almost impassable. So I'm also crossing this place off my list, and now we are heading to the Mileševa Monastery. Behind me is the Mileševa Monastery, built in 1219 by Župan Vladislav, son of King Stefan I crowned. In the 16th century it was one of the wealthiest monasteries. It even had a printing press, which was a rarity at the time. It's mostly famous for once holding the relics of Saint Sava, the first Serbian archbishop, and for the fresco of the White Angel. It is believed that in 1594 the Ottomans took the relics and burned them in Belgrade. However, the hand of Saint Sava remained here, where it is still kept today. The monastery was originally painted in the 13th century, but that layer was later covered by frescoes from the 16th century, which were later damaged by fire. In the 20th century, the second layer was removed to reveal the original one beneath, and that's when the fresco of the White Angel was discovered. An image of this fresco was among the first images transmitted into space, along with images of the moon landing and the Great Wall of China. The interior is relatively well preserved. In the first section you can see that that part was slightly different. I mean, there are two walls with a missing roof and a newer one built on top of them. There are just a few frescoes left from the second painting, because they were destroyed during removal, while revealing the original ones. Just past the gate in the monastery courtyard on the left side is the monastery treasury. The entrance fee is 43 cents, and it's worth it because inside you can see many old manuscripts, books, crowns, garments, tools, dishes, many old icons, and of course the most valuable, the staff of Saint Sava, which he received as a gift and actually used. Here above the monastery there is a road that passes by this cliff. It's a bit risky because rocks tend to fall. I tried driving there, but it's impossible to go any further than this. There you can see really big rocks that have fallen down, so to reach the tunnels you have to walk. By the way, these tunnels were dug, I'm not really sure, but before 1995, in order to connect Prijepolje with Sjenica. I don't really know why this project was abandoned, but what I do know is that in 1996 the movie Lepa sela, lepo gore was shot here. And here, next to this beautiful river. I will end our video about Prijepolje. If you have enjoyed it, follow me so we can go together on the next journey. Till then, see ya!